I'd like to call the Caddo Parish Commission workshop session to order at this time. It's November 5th, 2018 at 3:30 p.m. Mr. Clerk, if we can have the roll call.
Dominic.
Present.
Lyndon Johnson.
Present.
Jackson. Lynn.
Present.
Bowman.
Present.
Hawthorne.
Present.
Watts. Middleton.
Here.
Atkins.
Here.
Chavez.
Here, sir.
Smith. Lewis Johnson.
Present.
If we can all stand, Commissioner Bowman will lead us in an invocation, and Commissioner Atkins will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Everyone, please bow your heads. Father God, we thank you once again for allowing us to be able to assemble. Father God, I ask that you just allow everything that we do to be productive and progressive in your sight. Father God, I ask that you just bless each person up here. Let everyone know that each person is a person, and each person has families, Lord. Bless their homes, bless everyone here, and let no harm or danger come their way, Lord. And guide everyone who's working on behalf to do right by the parish, Lord. Continue to guide them and protect them as well. It's in these other blessings we ask, and we hope that everyone gets out to vote, God, tomorrow and make a change and a difference, that no matter who the leader is and the next person is, Lord, that they would be able to listen and serve you along as they go on their way. These are the blessings we ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
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 Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. You can place your right hand over your heart or render a brow salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Randy's patriotism is flowing through.
Sometimes it goes real quick.
Once again, I'd like to welcome everyone here today at our meeting. This is our workshop. Thank you, Commissioner Bowman and Commissioner Atkins, for your invocation and Pledge of Allegiance. We will move on to our business at hand. At this time, we move to agenda additions. Todd, I have none. Do you have any agenda additions?
That's right, I do not.
Okay, so then we'll go to citizens' comments. Citizens who wish to address the commission must fill out a comment card and forward it to myself or the clerk of the commission. Comments by any citizen will be limited to 3 minutes. I have no comment cards at this time either. Todd, do you have any?
No, sir.
Okay, I'll turn it back over to you for visitors.
We have no visitors. We move to reports. Administrative report.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Wilson, how you doing today?
Fine, sir. We hope you're doing well, and the other commissioners. We have a guest today, the other Dr. Wilson from United Way. And his team members are here to give us a little update on what's going on at United Way. Dr. Wilson, and your team. Please introduce your team for us, please, sir.
I sure will. First of all, she's not going to stand up, but Miss Lou Drotti, who runs the 211 program. Then we have Charnay McDonald, and then we have the very famous Rashida Dawson. Yeah. And I like it. Rashida.
Thank y'all for being here today.
Well, we're glad to be here. It's a stellar team. We come and we're going to be short. I just want to first of all thank y'all. You showed trust in us in this past year with the 211 program, and we've seen phenomenal results. We're up to over 500 calls in Caddo Parish per month, and people are receiving direct assistance, and so it's really making an impact. But we've got some other good things we're doing, and we just want to update you and let you know what's going on. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Charnay McDonald.
Good afternoon, everyone.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Glad to be here. Thank you so much. I'm Charnay McDonald. I am the Campaign and Communications Manager with United Way of Northwest Louisiana. And I understand that many of you may already be familiar with the ALICE report. And this is the data that we use statewide to scale measurable results within our 10 parish region that makes up Northwest Louisiana for our United Way. Now, I will refer to some updated numbers from our report. However, the new version will not be released to the public until January. So if you're not familiar with ALICE, it's not to be confused that we are just referencing a single person or even just a woman. ALICE represents an entire community of people, and it does not discriminate against men or women, black or white, gay or straight. ALICE can be anyone. It's an acronym that stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. This acronym represents the households that earn more than the federal poverty level, but less than the basic cost of living for your parish. So these are the people who may work multiple jobs, but they are still struggling to make ends meet and put food on the table and pay their bills. They don't qualify for government assistance because on paper, they are not in poverty, yet they still need our help. So when comparing the latest report, which looks at the 2016 year, compared to the previous report, which we have mostly seen from 2014, we, specifically looking at Caddo Parish, we actually see a 5% increase in households struggling. It went from 48% to 53%. We don't know exactly what may have gone on between that time to make those numbers rise. However, we're really interested in seeing what the numbers may have changed to after 2016. That's when our agency has really zeroed in on our focus to help bring this population out of poverty and out of an ALA situation. So since then, we've become very strategic with our community partnerships, and we've implemented specific programs to help with that population. And many of you, like Bruce had mentioned, are familiar with 211 and how that works. Thank you so much, commissioners, for supporting this program. It's definitely needed in our community. And it's 211 is that easy to dial number, easy to remember phone number to get help with just about any human service need. So what we saw before we had 211, people didn't have a central focus to turn for help. And they relied on word of mouth, they searched Google for answers, and now they have this easy number to remember, and they can call 211 24/7 and be connected to a live trained operator who will refer you to services that are closest to you within your own parish. So you can call 211 in Caddo Parish, you can call throughout Northwest Louisiana, throughout the whole state of Louisiana, and actually 95% of our country. So this is a national program, and we're just getting the program back in Northwest Louisiana. So when we look at what people are calling the most for, it's pretty sad to say, but they're calling for the most basic of needs. So we're talking about food. People are calling for sources of food because they don't know where their next meal is going to come from. And they're calling for utility help because they cannot keep the lights on their own. And for some, it is a privilege to even be able to make that decision if you're going to pay your light bill that month or not, because many people are homeless. And they're calling 211 looking for safe housing. We're going into the colder months, and 211 is especially important for people to be able to get a roof over their head and stay out of the cold. And we also know that United Way fights for financial stability, and being financially stable is very important to be able to break that cycle of poverty. And at this time, I will turn it over to my colleague, Ms. Rashida Dawson, to share more about a new program that will help our residents become more financially stable.
First and foremost, I am not a person to stand up here in one spot, so you might have to see me move around a little bit. But my name is Rashida Dawson, and I am the Financial Stability Program Director of United Way of Northwest Louisiana. And Charnay, thank you for mentioning those stats, especially when it comes to our ALICE individuals. But basically, overall, my job is to make sure that I create programs and manage programs that will help our working poor individuals, those people who are in poverty, those who are inside of our communities. So as I want to progress forward and ask the question, so what are we doing right now, and what is something that we're going to be looking forward to in the future? One of the programs that I manage is called Bank On Northwest Louisiana. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with Bank On, but Bank On, basically what it does, it helps the unbanked and the underbanked residents become financially stable, and also creates asset building opportunities. So what we want to do is provide a safe and affordable checking account that will provide them with a second chance for those who may have messed up their accounts in the past. Not only that, we do financial literacy outreach with partners with banks and credit unions, as well as financial institutions, nonprofit organizations, and we have been so successful with that program that we've been able to open over 4,000 checking accounts since 2013, since its inception. Now, with that being said, we can get people banked all day long, and we want to be able to make sure we have safe and affordable financial products, because how many of us have citizens inside of our communities with those payday lending access and seeing those payday lending signs everywhere, saying that we can fix your credit for $99 a month, and then next thing you know, everything is peachy peach. But unfortunately, that is not the case, because a lot of our citizens are going back into that cycle of poverty. So what are we doing right now to want to be able to take that next step? With our programs, we have noticed that financial literacy is a huge component to the success of our community, because many people may not have ever seen anyone know how to do a budget. They don't know anything about credit. They have never even thought about becoming homeowners because they never thought they would have access to that. Well, luckily right now, we have been awarded to be the nonprofit provider for the Financial Empowerment Center in partnership with the city of Shreveport. So what does that mean? That we're going to be able to bring free professional one-on-one financial counseling to all citizens, not only in Shreveport, but for anybody who walks through these doors. We're going to be using the Cities for Financial Empowerment funds. We're going to be using their FEC model. And when I say FEC, that is Financial Empowerment Center. And I say that because all the acronyms can get a little confusing. But what we're going to do is base it off of their model. And we are one of the 12 cities of a cohort, thanks to Bloomberg Philanthropies, to be awarded with a grant matching fund to be able to bring the Financial Empowerment Center here to Shreveport. Now, there are core things that, core elements to this program, and one of those is professionally trained counselors. That means that those counselors and that particular training that they will be going through, the CFE has made sure that that's going to be appropriate, and they're going to know all the knowledge they need, everything from budgeting, counseling, and home ownership. Also, we want to make sure that our counselors know about the programs. 211 is going to be one of those referral sources, also using Bank On. Financial counseling works well as a public service because we know that local government is a trusted source and voice for the residents, but also nonprofit organization also builds that reputation. And then this is also going to be a data and outcome-based program. That means that we're going to be able to collect information because we want to make sure and we want to know, are they going to be saving? How much have they been saving? We want to know if they've opened an account if they've never had an account before. We want to know how much have their debt has been reduced and see how they've been able to live within their means. We're hoping to launch this particular Financial Empowerment Center in the spring of 2019. However, we are still in need and support of the Financial Empowerment Center. Luckily, we have been able to have a $50,000 grant that has been awarded to us through JP Morgan Chase Foundation. And then also we have had a commitment of $50,000 from the city of Shreveport, both of those being for 2 years. And what I would like to challenge the Caddo Parish Commission, if possible, is that you would consider actually matching that as well of $50,000 for 2 years in effort and support of the Financial Empowerment Center. Thank you. Do anyone have any questions? I'm sorry.
Commissioner Chavez?
First off, thanks for coming down, guys, and I really like what you guys are doing. Obviously, that's the key to financial freedom, is being able to manage your own finances. When do you think that management center is going to be open?
In the spring of 2019.
I'm sorry, I don't mean when, I mean where.
Where?
I wrote where, and I
He
asked
wanted
where.
his district. Him and Stormy thinks he's going to fight. He wanted our district.
I live in the best neighborhood of town, guys. Don't get jealous.
Hey, I understand. Look, that's fine. Go ahead and ask that question. But honestly, right now, what we're trying to do is look in a centralized location. We're currently looking at office space, which is located in the 71101 at 820 Jordan Street right now, because not only do we have adequate parking, but also that is on the public transportation route. But at the same time, we're still trying our best to make sure that we are in that centralized location. So those are still being discussed.
Great answer.
No, I think that's advantageous. What you said you want from the commission, what was your ask was for financial support?
Yes. Definitely for financial support of it, at least matching the $50,000 for 2 years. Because the reason why we want to ask this is because the Cities for Financial Empowerment Fund will be doing a match grant. For the first year, they will be matching $150,000, which means we need to match 1-on-1. So, and for the second year, we will have to raise a 1-to-2 match. So we would need to raise $200,000 to receive that funding from them.
Gotcha. I can't speak for my fellow commissioners, but just a word of advice. I know we keep our money at a certain bank, and so does the city. It would be advantageous to go to those banks and say, hey, look what J.P. Morgan did, which thanks, Chase, for doing that and stepping up to the plate. But if those two banks hold the money for the city and the parish from these taxpayers, it may behoove them to be generous and match those funds as well to match J.P. Morgan. So just a word of advice.
Mr. Chavez,
yes.
we have a list of people. They're on that list.
Awesome. Good to know. Guys, again, thanks. Not on that list. Be willing to help how I can. Thanks, guys, for coming down.
Thank you.
Commissioner Atkins?
Dr. Wilson, I have a topic to discuss with you here.
Okay.
We've talked before. Well, first of all, let me say, ladies, you did a nice job. I share your goal to reduce homelessness and reduce hunger in our community,
right,
while simultaneously increasing financial literacy. So thank you for that. But Dr. Wilson, we've talked about the view that, or the possibility that many of the challenges that our community face, when it boils down to the source, are a function of out of wedlock children being born out of wedlock, teen mothers, and issues associated with that. I would argue that much of the poverty that shows up in your ALS report, I guess that's not poverty, but many of the numbers that show up in your ALS report are a function of those social challenges. And I'm not judging anyone morally. I'm certainly
Right.
not suitable to judge people morally,
Right.
but just financially and economically,
The
I
number
think
one,
that a
the
lot of
number
those
one
problems-
indicator of poverty is a single mother.
So,
is
so
the
then let me
number
ask you
one.
this: what is the United Way doing to address that? Because our community is exploding with social needs, legitimate social needs. But as long as no one gets up there, if we don't have someone get up there and stop get to the source of the problem and try to address the source of the problem, we're going to continue to struggle with these issues. But yet, I don't hear any nonprofits that are actually focused on the root cause of this problem.
Well, we may be focused on the root cause, but we're not going to do so publicly nor in print for some obvious kind of reasons.
Why wouldn't we? I mean, why wouldn't we? If we know it's a root cause problem, why wouldn't we address it publicly and in print? I'm addressing it publicly right now.
And I would agree with you that that people making choices that are not morally correct are indeed leading to the consequences that find them in poverty. One of the solutions, I believe, and we're in the process of working this out, Mr. Atkins, is that I'm convinced that the best place for the delivery of services in any neighborhood are churches. And so in an attempt to start that process, we are meeting with pastors and pastor luncheons and appraising them of what it is. And what I think is a solution to the problem is for us to take our resources, train the people in the individual churches in how to deliver those services, and then let them, in turn, be that point of contact. Because not only can they carry the teachings of the Word of God into their various neighborhoods, but then they can bring along practical help to it. But you're right. If we have broken families, we're going to have broken neighborhoods. If we have broken neighborhoods, we're going to have broken cities. If we have broken cities, we got a broken state. So it has to go back down to that bottom kind of level. And I believe the churches are where that can be remedied, but they have to be given help and knowing what to say to somebody who's got a specific kind of need.
Well, thank you, Dr. Wilson. Again, I'm not trying to morally judge anybody. I just think that it's for the good of our community, this is an issue we all need to address. So thank you for your input. And I encourage you to interact with the pastors and the civic organizations at any level that we can to try to get ahead of this issue.
Thank you, sir.
Commissioner Matthew Lynn?
To tie into my fellow commissioners' request, are y'all working with the school board in relationship to safe sex and teaching that in the school system?
No, sir, we are not working with them in relation to safe
Have
sex.
y'all ever approached them on that subject?
No, but if I was asked, I'd say I'd talk about marriage as a proper way to do it, but I realize that's
In
not
high
going to
school?
satisfy.
I mean, I'm talking high school students and,
Well, to my opinion, I mean, if you want to cut down on the incidence of STDs
Abstinence.
right,
in high school,
yes.
if you're in a monogamous relationship, that's going to affect that. And I would say marriage is a place that's going to happen. Now, I grant you, I hadn't thought through that,
Okay. And we
Mr.
do
Lynn.
live
But I
on
mean,
the-
I'm just,
the gonorrhea highway, I-20 from Dallas to Atlanta, and it does affect high school students.
oh, it does. It's down even lower
It's
than
in
that.
junior high too?
And it's above that.
Yes.
For instance, in the nursing homes,
Yes.
it is running rampant. We're aware of this.
All right. Thank you. I would just like to see us work with safe sex as well. Thank you.
Dr. Wilson and, let's see, Ms. McDonald, Mr. Drody, am I saying it right? And Ms. Dawson, thank y'all for coming out today. Appreciate y'all's report and wish y'all the best of luck.
And we appreciate y'all. Thank you. I know it's a thankless job, but y'all do a good job. And we're excited to be part of the team.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Hopkins, back on the agenda. I'm sorry, Dr. Wilson? Dr. Woodrow Wilson, it is.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
The
sir.
other Wilson.
Yes.
I just want to give a little brief update on the preparations for the voting tomorrow.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Mr. Kevin, we're going to have people at various locations, so he's going to give us those
Thank you,
locations.
thank you. Okay, Kevin Lawrence, our Facility and Maintenance Director, thank you for being here today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just on a real quick, we're going to have 6 places where we're going to have team members out. That's Lakeview Methodist Church, Willow Point Baptist Church, Southern University, Shreveport Job Corps, Bilberry Park, which is a location that was closed, and we'll be directing people to the correct one, and then Calvary Baptist. So we're going to have approximately 8 team members out during the day, and then 1 rover.
Why would you have some at some areas and not others at the other areas?
Well,
Because of-
Bilberry was just, the locations we go are ones that were moved.
Okay,
And so if one was moved, we put someone where the old location was to direct them to the new one.
okay,
And then we sometimes, if it's a large location at the new one, we'll put someone at the new one to help direct them to the proper place at the new one.
I understand.
And then some of our larger and busier locations, we work with the clerk's office, and we'll help them with directing the people to the proper place to make sure everyone can get in and out smoothly.
Okay. Got a couple commissioners, got some questions. Commissioner Linda B. Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Kevin, I know Bill Berry moved to Job Corps.
Yes, sir.
And we're going to another location at Southern University, a bigger
Yes, sir.
area.
And that's why we're gonna have someone there.
Okay, that's fine. What about North Side? North Side moved.
That was several, I think, a few elections back.
oh, so
So
we
we
good.
don't, typically, we only do that for 1 or 2
Okay. I just wanted
elections,
to
and
make
after
sure
that,
that we was
everybody
good.
kinda
Okay.
knows, so we don't have to continue that.
I just wanted to make sure we was.
Yes, sir, we should be fine though.
Okay, all right. I think that was the only other one that I had that
Yes.
moved around. All right, thanks.
And Commissioner Chavez, after the meeting, I'd like to meet with you, sir, about
You're on the list.
potential future move.
Okay, Commissioner Storm, you through? You done?
Yes.
Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts?
Thank you, sir. Yes, Mr. Lawrence has already answered my questions about it through both of you all exegesis what this is about and why we're doing it at some locations and not at others. Thank you for putting out the signs at the 2 in District 7 that has been combined and moved around. So I'll be out also riding to make sure that the wind hasn't blown them away. But I'm glad to hear that team members will be out there as well.
Yes, ma'am, they're gonna be there before the polls open at 6. They'll be in a
Awesome.
parish vehicle and in parish uniform.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, not a problem.
Good job.
Any other questions?
That's it, Kevin. Thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
Dr. Wilson, anything else?
That's my report for today, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Next item.
Commissioner remarks?
Okay. Anybody got any remarks at this time? Commissioner Matthew Lynn?
Attorney Frazier, last week I sent you a email requesting the difference in the contract between the Industrial Development Board and Industrial Realty Group between October and December. Will you be able to respond to me this week?
Yes, I will. You sent that on Saturday and I got it today.
Okay,
So,
thank you. That's it.
Okay, moving to our next item.
President's report?
Okay, yeah, I want to, first of all, I want to remind everybody that, of course, hopefully people are looking down on Facebook, that we do have an election tomorrow, and it's extremely important that we do have a .83 millage renewal for our Park and Recreation Department. I think as most people know, we have 14 park sites, that this is not an increase, it is a renewal. It's something vitally that's needed for our area to allow the Park and Recreation Department to continue its operation. Obviously, not only do we maintain the parks, but we have a lot of different events. We've had several events over the past couple of weeks. Had the Bugs, Bats, and Bones. Am I saying that right?
That's correct.
Very successful. About 800 people, I believe, attended that. At that same time and same day, this is something that's really, really great that I wanted to tell you about. Was the Caddo Parish Commission, the Park and Recreation Department have been working with the Black Bayou Watershed Commission. If y'all remember, last month we reappointed the members, and they have done a tremendous job at the local park in Halston off the Black Bayou. It's the Robert Nance Park, and they had I guess a grand opening, rededication celebration. Dr. Wilson came up to it, Doug Rainwater, some of the other people from the Park and Recreation Department. We had about 200 people, children and families there. It was a great, great turnout. Hot dogs.
Very nice.
That was made part and on behalf, really, of the Black Bayou Watershed Commission. Ronnie Festerman, who's the chairman, has done a great, great job. They've done some parking lot improvements, improvements to the bathrooms, equipment. You would just be amazed at what that small park has done, and that's kind of what our small parks and items are about. So I wanted to say a special thanks to John Settle. He had a good op-ed today favoring our park and why you should go vote and go vote in favor.
Can you believe it?
Just make sure he doesn't retract it.
Let's see. Also, to get off of the parks, and I just wanted to say a few things. That this past week we had the joint signing and proclamation of the joint proclamation of the declaring Veterans Celebration Week. I'm sure Stormy will be saying more about that Thursday, but I just wanted to mention that today. Wanted to thank Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts for coming out, along with Commissioner Mario Chavez and also Commissioner Mike Middleton, who were there at that signing of the proclamation. It's a great thing that it's the 7th year we've had this. This was put on by the Veterans Celebration Committee. That's the committee that's been headed by former Commissioner Ken Epperson, who's done a wonderful, wonderful job over the years of setting up that parade. You just have to be there for the accolades and the things that have happened and said concerning this parade and the event that accumulates. And of course, we'll be having the parade this coming Sunday at what time?
2 o'clock.
What time?
2 o'clock.
2 o'clock at the State Fairground. We want to be sure and invite everybody out. But just wanted to say thank y'all for all y'all's hard work. Thank y'all again, Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts, Mario. Mario was able to, man, I didn't even realize this. Had a flag that was. I'll let you tell.
Sure.
Mario, tell us about it. It was just unbelievable.
It
It was
was-
something
it
to
was-
get your heart. If you had to be there.
No, I really I was thankful too, and being a fellow veteran, it felt really good. Roseneath, they donated the flag that we sent over to Afghanistan to the 165th, and one of the soldiers there, he raised it up the flagpole and flew it above their Tactical Operations Center for the duration of their deployment. And then on his return home, he took it down and put it in his rucksack and brought it back home to make sure it stayed safe, and held on to it, and then took a picture of the entire company before they left for redeployment. And we were able to hang it and put it in a really nice frame and dedicate it to them. And we're going to hang it in the courthouse, for the rest of time, hopefully, so that all the members of that company that went over there can go and see them. And just really, it was a prideful moment for the parish, and Dr. Wilson, you're a big part of that, so I was very, very happy to be part of Caddo Parish that day.
Yeah, and I think the main thing, Mario said this, and all the other commissioners, Ken Epperson, they thanked everybody there, but it was for the veterans. That's what we were there for, and we thanked them. And as we go forward with this coming week, we just hope, we pray for them, and we continue to bless them. And thank y'all for all the hard work that all of our committee members do, and all of our commissioners and our staff do for that issue. So thank you very much, and that concludes my report at this time. Mr. Hopkins, I'll turn it back over to you.
We have no old business, we move to new business. Zoning case P-2818 in regards to ordinance number 5825 of 2018. Amending zoning property located on the end of Singleton Road, 1,025 feet south of Pine Hill Road from RMHP, Residential Manufactured Home Park District, to R15, Single Family Residential District.
Mr. Chairman, I want to, in global and advance, zoning case P-2818, zoning case P-2918, zoning case P-3018.
I have a motion by Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts to in globo and move to advance to Thursday zoning case P-28-18, P-2918, and P-30-18. Commissioner Chavez, do you have something?
I just had a question on the P-2918. I don't know if that'll be Mr. Clark or...
That would be, I don't know.
Mr. Clark?
Mr. Clark, yeah.
I believe it'd be Mr. Clark.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alan. Just really quick, I know that they were anticipating on increasing the lot size from 7,000 to 12,000, and my question is, what is the anticipated use? Because I did see that they were looking at putting farm animals out there.
Okay.
And it was right across the street from the Bell Mason subdivision, and I didn't know if any of those guys had been worried if their anticipated use was a trailer park.
The application was for the increase in zoning for 12,000 square foot lots. They'd already had goats on the property, and the goats had not caused any problems. And it was as far as we could understand, it was compatible with. There was industrial property across the street. There was a subdivision to the east, I think it is. But we circulated the information. No one had any problems with what they were doing, and the board just voted because of this current status of the property that the R12 would be more compatible than it remaining R17 or R15.
I just want to make sure that it was for sure for farm animals and not a trailer park anticipation.
No, sir.
Okay.
It's purely, it's going to stay 12,000 square foot lots, and they just want to be able to, and I don't know how effective this will be, but they said the goats would be for cutting the grass.
Goats are good. Goats are fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Alan. I appreciate you.
You're right.
I'm fine with that.
That's good. I see no one else on board at this time. If we can please vote. So that'll be moved in advance to Thursday. Then the vote is. Everybody voted? Who we missing?
Smith and Jackson.
Okay, that's him. I'm looking over here. See it over here. 10-0 passes. Next item. Normally comes up over here. It always looks. But. Okay, Todd. Next item.
Okay. Next we move to authorize the introduction of ordinance number 5828, an ordinance to authorize the purchase of property located at 2858 Lakeview Road.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to, in global and advance, ordinance number 5828, 5829, 5830, 5831.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Lyndon B. Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Mike Middleton to in global advance to Thursday introduction of ordinance number 5828, ordinance number 5829, ordinance number 5830, and also ordinance number 5831. No one's on the board to speak. If we can please vote at this
Just
time.
a reminder, these are introductions by title. There'll be no vote on Thursday. They're just introduced by title.
They'll just be introduced by title.
Yes,
Okay.
I just see it advance. I ain't seen them that Thursday.
Thank you.
Did I say anything with them?
You did.
All right, 10-0.
I'm done.
Next, we move to authorize resolution number 71, authorize the Caddo Parish Administrator to request and authorize the Louisiana State Mineral and Energy Board and the Office of Mineral Resources to accept nominations and advertise for oil, gas, and mineral lease, accept bids and award and execute oil, gas, and mineral leases on certain mineral interests owned by the Parish of
Move to
Caddo.
advance.
Second.
Been moved by Commissioner John Atkins, seconded by Commissioner Bowman to move in advance. Commissioner Linda Johnson?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to englobo in advance resolution number 71, resolution number 72, resolution number 73, resolution number 74.
Second.
Yeah, I'm beginning to wonder if you're not running for mayor and trying to get out here. Trying to get out early. Okay, all right, so I have a motion by Commissioner Lyndon Johnson. Who was that seconded by? Commissioner Mike Middleton to englobo advance resolution number 71, 72, 73, and 74. And is anybody on the board? Nobody on the board? Please vote.
Gonna vote by
System
hand.
down.
Just shut down on us.
All right. Please
That's
raise
why
your
I
hands.
pushed
John, got Bowman.
That's why I pushed it.
Okay, so everybody votes for it. Commissioner Bowman votes no. Correct? Okay. Moving
Mr. Bowman
to,
voted no, is that correct?
that's correct. Okay, moving to our next item.
Communiques and committee reports, second round.
All right, communications, committee report, second round. Lyndon B. Johnson, are you up? Commissioner? No?
Now say mine to Thursday.
All right, well, we appreciate that. If anybody wishes to speak, our system's down. Raise your hand, I'll start writing your name down. Anybody wish to speak? Okay. Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts.
Thank you, sir. I just want to reiterate what you already said about reminding everyone to get out and support the millage renewal for parks and recreations of Caddo Parish. Many of you may not know, but they also help us with the Super Safe Saturday.
Yes.
And making sure that the kids have something to do anytime we call on them to do anything in our district. Not only do they make sure that it happens, they are there to oversee it. So you want to make sure that you go out and vote yes. This is very important. We want to make sure that we keep our employees here at Caddo Parish and help them to do the wonderful jobs that they're doing. So I just want to say thank you, Director Wesley, for what you're doing. You and your staff are doing an excellent job, and we are standing behind you 100% to make sure that we can get this millage passed. Thank you.
Yeah, I know that just some of the information that 245 all-speaking engagements that the naturalists, the people who work at Walter B. Jacobs Park are constantly going into the schools. The schools are coming out there.
That's good.
That is, you know, I know some of the inner city commissioners don't have parks or have very few, but, you know, Andre and his group do a great job, as Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts said, of reaching out to the inner city and the basketball tournaments and the different events that they have, and we're able to support and be a part of that people just don't realize, but it's a great job. Commissioner Middleton, were you on the board?
Yeah, I'll give you can go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Little clarification on the events for the Veterans Ceremony. Normally, up to this year, it was a parade at 2 o'clock, and then the recognition ceremony followed that. So
Right.
this year it's being separated. The recognition ceremony is at 5 o'clock at the Bossier Civic Center.
Saturday?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yes.
Right.
And then 2 o'clock is the parade, so everybody understands.
We need to make
that.
sure that when Thursday comes by, we
I'm
need to
going
get that out a little bit more because we'll have the live cameras and stuff, so. But thanks for mentioning that. I realized that the other day. I didn't realize it until we were in the meeting when Ken was talking about it, that it was
And that's all I
broken
have.
up.
Thank you.
Well, guess when I realized it while reading the proclamation.
I think it's a good idea, because that really got lengthy.
Yeah,
By
it
the time
was
you
on
stage-
the proclamation.
You started staging for the parade at noon.
Yeah.
And then it's like 6 o'clock.
Well, you know, the way they had it set up with Commissioner Middleton doing the Pledge of Allegiance, Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts reading the proclamation, and Mario with his, I guess,
Flag presentation.
presentation. It just worked out really well. I thought it was great the way everything worked out good. So. All right, moving on to our next item.
Communicate, citizen comments.
Okay, late arrivals, citizen comments. I have none. Todd, you got any?
Next, we have consent agenda.
Move to adjourn.
What's that? Okay, move to adjourn. We are adjourned.
Let's go.